Hola, amigos.
Hola.
Episode 21 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. I'm Scott Sturman with Matt Deitch. What's happening, guys?
That's
I've
I
been
don't
thinking
even.
about it. Like, what can I do that's a little bit different? And had I been a little bit more on my game, I suppose I would have gone to Google Translate and figured out exactly how to say "Welcome to the Midwest Angler Podcast" all in Spanish.
Yeah,
But
geez, you had me a little nervous there. I felt like I was back in Spanish class in high school and it was a test or something.
no, that's all I got. Hola, amigos. ¿Cómo estás?
Well, that's bien.
No.
We're going bilingual tonight.
Yeah.
Coming at you.
Maybe later I'll throw something else in.
You know any Russian or German or anything like that? Maybe
you
some
just
Dutch.
get a bunch of spit in your mouth and just kind of. Oh gosh, boy! If we have any minorities that listen to this, they aren't
love 'em
anymore.
all.
Yeah,
we love them
We
all.
do.
Even the Canadians that listen.
Yeah. Oh, Canadians.
The Casting Deck podcast.
The Canucks up there from Winnipeg. How your Jets doing?
Yeah, well, better than what my Wild did.
Yeah,
So
well.
I can't say anything to them.
No.
Well, it's been a busy couple weeks here. It's
Yeah.
been a while since we've done a podcast.
Yeah, we had to skip a week. We would be on 22 right now, but we're only on 21 because I was on vacation last week, and the way the chips fell, we just didn't have time to make an episode in between there. But that's
Give
all right.
everybody a break from us for a little bit.
Give them a break. Now they're back, and they just can't wait for episode
I've
21.
been getting asked for like a week now, like, when's the next one? When's the next one?
Calls,
People
and
driving
texts.
by all the time. Are they in there? Are they in there recording another show?
The paparazzi has been following me around. They were down around the Fort Myers Beach area.
Oh, I know.
Like, hey, when's the
I
next
saw the
episode
pictures
coming?
online.
Yeah. Wasn't easy, but we got through it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of our first fishing adventure tournament of the year, our club tournament, your first bass tournament ever.
God, that was just more fun than what I can handle.
It was a good time, wasn't it?
It was.
It was fun. It was good to be back fishing with that club over there.
Great dudes.
Yeah. It's the Iowa Great Lakes Bass Club. They fish the Okoboji chain of lakes over in northwest Iowa here, and they also fish Spirit Lake. I've fished with the club in the past before. Great group of guys, very friendly. Come up, talk to you before, after the tournament, even during the tournament sometimes.
Yeah, I never once felt like, sometimes when you get into a competition setting like that,
Right.
they're kind of trying to size you up, and you know the feeling, but definitely that was not there.
Before takeoff, before drawing boat numbers and stuff like that, everybody was just kind of standing around in the parking lot, just having a good time, talking to each other, and just getting ready to go.
Yep.
They all share the same passion of bass fishing, so it's kind of fun to have that around here. You don't have a lot of bass fishermen around here, so it's kind of cool to see that in a club over there.
There was some money on the line, but I don't know if it was, I don't want to say a small enough amount, but maybe if it was thousands upon thousands of dollars,
Then
maybe
it changes it up a little
yeah,
bit. But I mean, you're still fishing for the competition, a little bit of the pride aspect of it.
definitely the bragging rights is always something. But
Yeah, and we had a good day for it.
perfect. Holy smokes, I
was a
got
nice
sunburned
day.
even.
Yeah, we started off in the morning. It was like 40, lower 40s or mid 40s,
Yeah, well,
something like that.
we both. I mean, I don't know if you ever actually even did shed your jacket, but
Not until about the last hour. Then it got hot. It
man,
it went
got
from 40-degree weather in the morning to 80 degrees when we got off the lake.
Yep. And I had a Blackfish Gale pullover, and it's got a fleece lining on it and whatnot, and it's a warm deal. And boy, when I finally took that off, I thought, ooh, I'll be fine. Man, the sunburn when I finally got off, it was unbelievable. I didn't expect that for April.
Yeah, the sun's still pretty powerful,
It is.
especially when you're on the water. But no, we started at, what was it, 7:30 was that takeoff? 7? Somewhere in there, legal light, fished until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a 3-fish limit per person. I fished as a boater, you fished as the non-boater. That's kind of cool that they have that set up in the club over there. And my fish had to be 15 inches long, and yours had to be 14 inches long to keep and weigh in. And the crazy thing is, all day long, I caught plenty of 14 and 7/8 inch bass. that you could have kept, but I had to throw back, and you kept catching them that were like 13 and 7/8. It was just like, just so close.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But, and that's one thing. I forget who I was telling that story, and somebody said to me something like, well, didn't you ever think about taking Matt's fish? And, I'm not sitting here trying to give us a pat on the back and whatnot, but that wasn't ever even discussed.
No, that didn't even cross our mind because it's against the rules. You got to catch your own fish.
Yep. Yeah, it's against the rules, but I think, it could have been done. It could have been done. No one would have ever known.
Right.
And we would have come home, and neither of us would have even gotten into the money that way.
Exactly.
But still, that really, I don't know, it says something to me about you that it was never even, it wasn't, it was never even said as a joke.
Right.
And I don't know.
It's all about
I
a
like
character
that.
thing.
Yep.
I mean, you got to have good character, carry yourself in a professional manner. It doesn't matter how small or how big the tournament is. You hate seeing those stories online of people that have cheated in tournaments, whether
Yellow
they went
Bass Bonanza.
whether they went out before and caught fish and had them hit out there, and then went out there the tournament day and did that, or they tried to shove a bunch of weights down into their stomach, and so they weighed more. So yeah, it never really didn't cross our minds. It was just we knew I had to have 15-inch fish and you had to have 14-inch fish. I was, lucky enough to bring in 3 to weigh. I had a limit to weigh in. Mine weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Still a couple pounds out of the money. And you were able to bring in 1, and that one weighed what, 2 pounds? A little over 2 pounds.
Yeah, 2.08 or something like that. But
and if you could have caught a couple more of those, you would have been right there towards the money.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, the last cast of the day for me, I caught one that was right at 15 inches. I mean, if you could have, that's the thing about it is, it wasn't like, no, Scott, you have to cast over here and I get a cast up here.
No.
We were casting in there, and it was just kind of like, you could have just as easily caught those fish as I could have easily caught those fish.
And the whole entire tournament for us, besides one fish that I guess you caught over on a river or on a bank, but was the tail of 2 docks.
Yeah.
2 docks, we caught all of our fish.
That's right.
And the first fish you caught at about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
We blasted off 7:30, whatever it was. And so, yeah, it might have been 8:30, but you got that first fish, and, it felt good to get that monkey off our back. We got a fish in the boat, and it was a nice fish, too. But, yeah, then we went the whole entire rest of the morning into the afternoon with that being it. And the one fish that you did catch on the bank didn't end up being of size,
Right.
but yeah, we couldn't do it. And then we ended up going back to the dock that you caught the original fish that morning, and there was a lot of fish stacked up underneath of there.
They kind of came up there and stacked up. That's one nice thing about Okoboji this time. Well, one nice thing, one bad thing about it is not all the docks are in, and some of them are always better than others. So we were able to fish those docks, but a lot of other people also had the opportunity to fish those docks.
Yep.
And it was kind of neat to see the pattern that developed on the docks that we were fishing. The docks that we caught fish on were all very similar to each other. And it was kind of, you brought up one point while we were fishing, it's just like, it seems like not only were they wood, but, there was other things that...
A big platform at the end.
Yep. And it surprised me a little bit just for the fact that it was still early spring, the water was still cold, and I didn't think that the sun would play that effect. Usually in the summertime is when you see that they like to get up and way up underneath the docks into the shade and stuff. But it was kind of neat to see that, and yeah, we were able to find a couple of those and really key in on it and pick some fish off of there.
Yep.
And then the bad thing is, we were fishing the
this
docks.
had to come up.
We were fishing the docks, and a couple other guys that have been longtime members of that club over there, always have fished really a long time in it, do really well in it. They came around and asked if we were going to fish the next dock. Well, we were at the one that we were catching a lot of fish off of, so it was just, what, go ahead, you're coming by, go fish it. And those guys pulled up there, and the guy ended up winning the tournament, and he caught the big fish off. We watched him catch it, and that one ended up weighing like 5 pounds, 2 ounces, something like
Yeah,
that. So,
I said to you, I was like, he's got a fish over there, and I couldn't see it because there was kind of a boat lift in the way, and you said, it's a big fish, too.
yeah, and it was just, it's one of those deals. I mean,
They thanked us up
Yeah,
and down,
yeah.
They were good dudes.
they came up at weigh-in, before actually weigh-in, while I was waiting to load the boat out there, he pulled up beside us, thanked us again. Afterwards, came up, shook our hands, was very grateful for us doing that. Because, some guys would tell him to go get lost in nice terms.
Yeah.
But again, it's anybody can go up there and fish. It's just what it is.
You want to know something that I really took away from that tournament that just still I've thought about it a lot since then, was that last fish that you caught, we decided was right at what was it, 15 inches?
Yep.
Yeah, right at the 15-inch mark. I mean, oh, it was so close.
Right.
And so you said, when we get back there, we got to ask somebody else for another measuring board to double reference this, because I don't want to bring in a fish,
That's
when
illegal to weigh.
Exactly. When it's that close, the last thing you want to do is get up to the table and have them measure it and say, hey, Matt, you got 114 7/8 here. Well,
And then you're disqualified from the tournament for bringing in a small fish.
Exactly. But when we measured it on that other guy's board, it was over 15 by I mean,
It was like
a considerable amount.
Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't have even been a question on that board, but on yours it was. And I've heard that before. I don't want to get off subject too far here, but my dad has said that at the manufacturing plant that they never want to change the brand of tape measures.
Exactly.
Because it does fluctuate, and it's like, how does that fluctuate? That's something that should be so standard.
Well, a lot of it too is, you're talking about aluminum measuring boards, so you're throwing them around in your boat all the time. Sometimes the end of it might get a little bent or
That's
something
true.
like
That's
that,
true.
or a lot of the factors come into it.
Yep.
There's one ruler out there, I think it's called the Judge, that a lot of these like big tournaments use as their bump board, as their measuring board.
Yep, I've heard that.
So, I don't know, I've been kind of looking into getting one of those, but it was reassuring knowing that mine was good.
You'd rather have it be a little bit long than a little bit short.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially, we drive over from Rock Rapids at, what did you come pick me up at? 5
we
o'clock
left
in the
at like
morning?
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5 o'clock in the morning. You go over there, you pay your money, and we're just not guys that are purposely trying to cheat, whatever. So yeah, you put in all the work, and granted, yeah, we got to go fishing for a day, whatever, but, to have that come down at the end, because, and especially, when it was like, what do you think? Because you called me over, you think that's 15 inches? Yeah, I think it's 15 inches. And I knew you were more hesitant. I was like, yeah, that's 15 inches. But yeah, I mean, just the way the fish, has its mouth closed or whatnot, that can be a 1/16 of an inch.
Right.
But
yeah,
whatever. So that's that.
But I mean, it's just all things that come into it. Like you just said there, it's not just going out and just fishing. There's a lot more to it. It's constantly going through your head. You're trying to focus on what you're doing, but you're also thinking, okay, if they're not here, what are we going to go and do? And sometimes you got to scrap everything what you thought it was going to be and go do something else. You hear guys in big tournaments talk about it all the time in all the tournaments. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut and do it.
Another thing that was really wild to me is, and I think maybe we even touched on this on one of the last podcasts, was when me and you go out walleye fishing, if all of a sudden we start catching panfish, or, if we go out pan fishing and we start catching walleyes, or we start catching bass or whatever, a walleye trip can quickly become a bluegill trip, whatever. Mm-hmm. So we're on this bass tournament where we strictly have to go after nothing but bass. That morning, right before you caught that bass, we got into some yellow bass.
Yeah, there was
and I mean, it was like, golly, this would be a lot of fun, because they were nice yellow bass, and it would have been a lot of fun to drop all largemouth and smallmouth fishing and focus on these yellow bass. Well, then it wasn't but a few hours later, we're up on a totally different part of the lake, and we're trolling along, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's a crappie. And yeah, sure enough, there was a crappie right underneath the surface of the water. I got to think that there could have possibly been some more crappies in that area. And how much fun would that have been to sit there
Right.
and drop camp and frickin' catch a bunch of crappies? But no, we're on a bass fishing mission, and yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, and I don't know, it's my first tournament. My goal was to weigh one fish, and I got that done. And 45 minutes out from weighing, I didn't have that one fish yet. So, it was one of those deals where whatever, I hit my goal. My next goal will be obviously maybe to win, weigh a limit or weigh two, whatever. But I don't know. This bass fishing tournament deal is something that I think might have got in my blood, and maybe a little bit too much with my personality. I've already been thinking, like, all right, 4-year plan. Like, how big could I take this? And I've got so much to learn. I learned a ton, and I got to thank you for that. Just how much bass fishing knowledge I learned on that one day is more than what I knew in the last 30 years of my whole entire life. And I thought it was a lot of fun. I did a drop shot rig with a wacky rigged Yum Dinger, 18 inches up, and golly, was that fun. I just really liked that style of fishing. That's something that I think I could really get into.
The great thing about a drop shot is you catch them any time of the year, and it's so versatile. You can catch them in a lot of different places, and you can rig it up a lot of different ways.
Yep. Another thing I got to say is how awesome you did running that trolling motor.
It gets...
Because we had some wind that day.
Yeah.
We had some wind that day, and we got into some tight quarters, going up in the docks, right along the boat lifts and whatnot. And I mean, there was a lot of times where we were just 3 foot away from the docks, and man, you just frickin' precisioned that thing right around there. It was fun. That was half the fun, is just seeing how you did that. And yeah, for a guy who's never flipped docks and pitch jigs and whatnot like that, it was fun. It was a good experience for me.
Yeah, it was. I caught most of mine on a jig, just pitching up a jig up underneath of there. I figured that's what it was. I knew I wasn't going to get a lot of bites, but a lot of times with a jig you can catch. That's where your big bites come in. So when you're only fishing for 3, sometimes it's like you're going for it all. And
Yep.
No, it was a good time. Good to get the first one out of the way for the year, kind of for you to see what it was like, for me to get back into it. Like I said, I love the part of, you're watching your watch, you're looking at it, it's like, okay, all right, it's like this is going to be the last cast, Scott, but we got to go, and then you got to idle through west.
Under the bridges.
And it's just like, keep looking at the clock and open it up to get back across west, and because check-in was at 3, and you think you're going at a pretty good clip, and here comes a couple other guys
Nitro
with the 250s, just like you're standing still. They're going 60, 70 miles per hour, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. We got back with 3 or 4 minutes to spare.
Yeah, we
had
plenty of time, and it's not like they're standing out there like with a stopwatch. And
that would be a thing. I like to get to work at 10, 12 minutes early. I could see if I was running the boat, it gets to be about 15, 20 minutes out, I might be the type that's like, I think, even if it's just a little 5-minute jaunt back, like I would be probably one of the first ones back every single time. And I just like that safety feature of that,
Oh, for sure. There's times where I'm like that too, and then I'll just go kind of fish around.
Yeah, that's true too.
The landing area. And a lot of people do that. If it's a windy day, I'll definitely go back early just to give myself plenty of time and everything like that. So, no, yeah. Our next one is coming up May 18th, I think it is. Yep. I think that should set up right time of the year. I think that there's going to be big weights. And that's one thing about this club. There is some really good fishermen in this club, and you have got to bring it.
Yep.
In order to give yourself a chance to win it. I mean, it was 12 pounds to win on 3 fish, so that's pretty good.
Well, when we turned that corner into the boat ramp parking lot there, and I saw all those, high dollar boats and nice trucks and whatnot, it was like, for a first timer like me, that was a touch intimidating. It's like, holy moly!
It definitely can get a person, and that's something I've always had to kind of get over, is the fact that it's nice having those, and sometimes that's not what it's about. It's about the fishing in itself.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
And, so we're going to get ready for the next one. You got the chance to go down to Florida over last week and get out on the water a little bit as well.
Was, yep. We had a beautiful morning. The wind was blowing a little bit, but it wasn't bad. We took off out of right by Sanibel Island, Fort Myers Beach, whatever, and we fished off the beach of Sanibel. I suppose, I don't know if we would have been a mile off Sanibel, but we were a ways out there. About 18 foot of water, and yeah, what we did was we had big bait casting rods, and we threw out baits. I mean, 12, 14-inch fish, and actually Aubrey ended up catching a Spanish mackerel that would have probably gone closer to 18 inches, and hooked that puppy up. Monster hooks, holy moly! And yeah, we threw them out with a float, and they sat probably 6 foot below the float, and just kind of tossed it 10, 15, 20 yards back behind the boat. And I'll never forget, because I mean, it was only 3-4 minutes after we casted out that first bait, and all of a sudden I'm looking out there and my polarized sunglasses just cut through the water, and sure as shit, oops a daisy, sorry, sure enough, yeah, I start seeing a shark, and it's like, holy, this is crazy. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't very long. Float goes under, and Grady actually got that one. I think it was, that was a black tip shark, and probably 2.5, 3 foot long, something like that. Maybe it wouldn't have even gone 3. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a good fight for him. I mean, he kind of had that look in his eyes like, holy smokes, and got it in. And, so yeah, we get it in, and, we want to take pictures. First shark, kids are touching it and whatever. And yeah, Captain Josh has it sitting on the side of his boat, like on the side ledge, and he's telling Grady and Aubrey, be careful, because at any second this thing can whip around, and it can get you if you're touching its tail. They're lightning fast and whatnot. And just like that, my dad got a video of it, and all of a sudden that thing whips around, and he was wearing a set of khaki fishing pants, and that thing got his pants, and I thought it got his leg, and it's like, holy smokes, we ain't even 25 minutes into this trip, and we're going to be heading back to the dock. And no, it didn't get him, but yeah, it ripped a good hole in his pants. And
I saw the pictures. That's a crazy, the bite mark it's crazy.
It was crazy. And
I think on your Snapchat you had him talking about how he grabs him by the back fin, right? Just
Yep.
for the fact that if you do grab him in the back tail, they will
Yep.
swing around and bite you.
he said I think he said the black tips can't do it as well, but the lemon sharks really can get around and bite their own tail. So yeah, if you're tail grabbing them, you're in harm's way there. And it was really something. It was neat. I would say that maybe we landed 6 or 8 of them, probably in 2 hours or something like that. And actually, my dad ended up getting seasick while we were out there. Yeah, we all took the motion sickness pills, and Dad did the kiss of death and said, "I don't get motion sickness." and I know what it was. You get the sharks in the boat, and you're staring at that little screen on your phone, and you're looking at stuff on the ground. And like I said, it was decently windy. It wasn't big waves, but yeah, you do that for a little while. And when it hits, it hits. And he said, you know what, Josh, I will take one of those motion sickness pills. But it was too late.
Yeah.
Once it's too late, it's too late. But yeah, then we ended up going in. Josh threw out a cast net and caught a bunch of what I'm going to call minnow chub-like fish. But they're really a different, fast little fish. But yeah, then we ended up kind of going back into the bay, throwing out some of those underneath some floats. I free-lined mine. But yeah, we caught some Spanish mackerel, some ladyfish. I think one was called like a lizard fish. I don't know if that's actually a real name or if that's just what they call them. But it was cool. We kind of got a taste of the shark fishing, and then we got a taste of the inshore fishing, and it was a lot of fun. It always is. Just when you're ocean fishing, you just never quite know what you could pull in. Another crazy thing was, as we were packing up and going to head in, Josh started reeling in one of the lines, and we had a big shark. I mean, bigger than what we had caught. I'd say well over 6 foot, maybe 7, 8 foot. and it started chasing, and he's like, he stopped immediately, and he handed me off the pole, and he's like, get ready, it's going to come back. And we waited for about 5-10 minutes, and it just never did. But that would have been neat. We actually saw a few fish that came up to or a few sharks that came up to the bait, kind of circled it, and never did take it. And so I don't know, a lot of them died. Why, when we put them in the live well after we threw them out. One of the really neat things is those Spanish mackerel. They have to be swimming at all times. If they're not, their swim bladder doesn't work.
Really?
And they'll die. So, we threw a live Spanish mackerel into the live well, and he said 45 seconds and that thing's going to be floating, and it was just like that.
It's crazy.
But they're fast fish. They really move fast. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I suppose you kind of see that with, like, on Wicked Tuna, the show.
Yeah.
When they're catching the bait, and, they're talking about how you always got to keep it alive, and that's the only way they can really catch them is live bait. So.
And we caught them on dead, but, you wonder, kind of like what we deal with sometimes, ice fishing and whatnot, you might catch a couple on on waxworms, but you don't catch all of them on waxworms, or you might catch a couple on plastics, but not all of them. Just something wasn't quite right, and they knew it, and so they skedattered.
But all in all, pretty good trip.
Oh, definitely.
Kids had fun.
Definitely.
Dad had fun, except for the motion sickness.
Yeah.
He didn't throw up or anything.
No, he didn't. He didn't. I was thinking, golly. So if he does, do I Snapchat this and send it to the guys at work?
Yes, you do.
You know what, man? He's the one that's buying my supper.
Oh, we did it to my father-in-law when we were out off the coast of Maine deep sea fishing.
Did you?
He got seasick. Old Barry did, and he was puking off the side of the boat, and his own daughter is leaning out there videotaping him the whole time.
Sometimes you got to. So.
Oh yeah, that's still floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys caught? Just what you said there?
Yeah, the lizardfish, the Spanish mackerel.
Did you keep any and eat any of them?
Nope.
Through it all.
We had done that. I feel bad saying it, but we did it last year. My grandpa had said, oh yeah, if you come back with some fish, I'll fry it up, whatever. Well, my mom was cleaning out his freezer and said, guess what? It's still there. So, my family, as anyone who knows my family, I mean, we value eating out a lot, and I mean, we base whole entire vacations off of where we're going to eat at night. During the day, we'll make some sandwiches, whatever, but going out to eat at night is just my family's thing. It always has been. That's kind of, when we have birthdays, when we have whatever, it's where we're going to go out to eat tonight. And my dad and me, we're fish lovers. We like to eat fish. And when you go down there and the black grouper and all that, the mahi-mahi's on the menu.
Right, yeah.
And there's a lot of restaurants down there that'll advertise 24 hours ago that fish was still swimming.
Yep.
And so, it's fresh, never frozen. Oh, it's good. And
yeah, that's why when we used to go out to Maine, that's the way it was. And yeah, there's just something about it, fresh right out of the ocean. I mean, we always went down to this one little place that, sitting on the ocean or back in one of the bays. And
the fish market's probably just a couple blocks down.
Well, it is. They come up, the boat comes up and sells it right to them. And
that's good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, good trip then. It's good to hear.
It was.
I got to get down there with you one of these times.
You do. And, to any of you guys that happen to be listening, if you know me at all and you ever want to get in on some saltwater fishing, it'd be hard for me to get down there and leave Kayla back here, so she'd probably have to come too. But, yeah, god dang it. I mean, it is fun, and I'm so blessed to have a place that I can go down there and stay for free, and yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah. Well, besides saltwater fishing, we got the big walleye weekend coming up over here
That's
at
right.
the Iowa Great Lakes.
The weather's gonna.
It's Iowa. It's walleye weekend. It wouldn't be walleye weekend if the weather was nice.
That's true. That's true.
I know. I can remember more cold, windy, rainy, sleety, snowy days for walleye weekend than nice sunny days. And
Yep.
not only is it walleye weekend, but on Sunday over there it's the Okoboji Open. That's always a big bass tournament, usually a 50 boat tournament that fills up pretty fast.
I wonder, is Colby Van Beek gonna fish that?
Yeah, he is. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure he is. I thought that's what he told us at the.
Looked like
He's been on him.
Yeah. God, that'd be sweet if he could just come through and just.
I think he's
hammer
going
'em.
to have a good tournament.
Good.
I'm
I
pretty
hope so.
sure he's going to have. Kobe will have one. It's always kind of one of those double-edged swords things over there. With that coming up, everybody's over there pre-fishing, so a lot of fish are getting
Bumped around and
stuck and kind of bothered, and it's going to take 20 pounds to win it. It usually does, 20-plus pounds to win the Okoboji Open. I mean, you can catch, there's going to be bags of 17, 18s caught, but if it's not over 20 pounds, I'll be surprised the winning weight. That's usually what it is. And like I said, it's a big tournament. There's a lot of guys that are on professional tours now that have come down and won it. One of the couple years that we were in it, my friend Joe and I, we fished. We had like 14, 15 pounds the one day, and Josh Douglas and one of his friends, Josh, fishes the FLW tour, and they ended up winning it with like 21 or 22 pounds. So
yep, those are some good sticks.
Yeah, but as far as Walleye Weekend goes, it opens up on midnight. It would be considered Saturday morning at midnight at 12 a.m. You have to be registered by then. You can go to a lot of the bait shops over there and get registered for it.
I think online also, and I don't know the website, but if you can't get over there beforehand, go to one of the bait shops' Facebook pages. It's like the okobojichamber.com or something like that, but you can register on there also.
And what that registration does is it gives you an opportunity to, release 10 tagged walleyes, I think is what it is.
I believe it.
They have tagged them from the fish hatchery over there, and they release them before the tournament, or before midnight on Friday, or Saturday morning, I should say. And if you catch one of those during this weekend, and you're the only one that catches it, I think you get $37,000 or something.
Yeah, I think that's the big.
If more than one is caught, then obviously it all splits up. It depends how many are caught, but
so it's not okay. I'm guess I didn't completely understand that. I thought that one fish was worth $37,000.
I don't think,
like another fish, maybe that one's only worth 500. Maybe this one's worth 1,000.
No, I think it's like if you're the only one that catches one that weekend, you get the whole pot.
And wasn't it last year that a kid caught that fish?
Yeah, and put it in his fish basket out the end of his dock and didn't realize it until he brought it in to get him cleaned, and they were like,
and
hey.
he didn't register.
No, I think he was registered. Okay. If I remember right.
Okay. Maybe
there's another story too of a kid that caught one later on in the year, and he didn't register for it.
Okay.
Because if nobody catches one this weekend, or even if only one person catches it, I think if you were registered for this weekend, it still goes throughout the year. If you catch tagged walleye, you can still win
I think it's like a $10 extension, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like you can win like $1,000, or there's like some monetary
not
award.
The full 37, but something. Yep.
So, and he didn't, and he caught a tagged walleye, and it's just like, well.
For some reason, I thought that kid last year, and I'm sure I'm wrong, but I thought that he had debated whether or not to sign up for it. Ended up catching the $37,000 one, and
no, I'm pretty
whatever.
sure that he was registered.
You're probably right, but can you imagine the stomach ache? Oh, man. Jeez, but
that's coming up, and I think on Sunday, some of the bait shops over there have a little contest going on.
Some door prizes and whatnot. I've seen at a couple
There's
of the bait
meals,
shops.
Some of them are offering some meals. I think that Stan's and Oak Hill Outdoors are kind of doing a thing
jigging
down
at
there.
the junction or something like that.
Some
I
things
think
going on down there.
Maybe a seminar or two.
Yep, some of the guides and some pros are going to be there talking. So definitely get over there. Just remember, you're only allowed 3 walleyes over at the lakes on Spirit, the Okoboji chain. It's 3 walleyes, and the slot limit is anything 17 to 22 inches has to be released. So you can only keep under 17 inches, and then 1 over 22 inches. And you're allowed 3 of them. So just remember that if you're heading over there this weekend, and keep your eyes open. You never know. Sometimes those tags can kind of lay right down the back of the walleye, and kind of examine them thoroughly when you catch one.
Yep.
But other than that, we got the
Bassmaster Elite series. I'm pumped for this one.
The Texas Big Bass thing that they do down there. It's the format's a little different this week. If you didn't know,
is it catch and release?
They have a slot on that lake that's anything 16 to 24 inches, I believe, has to be released.
Okay.
So obviously fishing a tournament, it's like, oh, okay. So what they're doing is this kind of a catch, record, and release
Yep.
tournament, and the marshals in the boats, they'll weigh the fish for them, and then obviously then they can bring one over in.
Okay.
So they'll bring in one big fish to weigh.
That's really too bad. Like, I don't want to be that guy. The rules are the rules. But, there is something about the final weigh-in, getting in there and launching up too
The big ones, yeah.
whatever. But whatever, it's gonna be killer cool to see what kind of weights.
Yeah,
I was listening to Keith Combs on Bass Talk Live today, and he was talking that he truly thinks that probably not the daily record, but that the total record. He said he thinks it'll get pushed, and I think it's 135 pounds.
Something like that.
And, another thing that I thought was really interesting about that is they said that on the Fantasy League, like 60% of the people are jumping on the Keith Combs bandwagon. Yeah. And he said he truly feels like maybe he's only fished that 7 or 8 times,
yep.
Lake Fork. Like he said he fishes a lot of the lakes around it, but
he's
he said
a Texas
Lake Fork.
Guy.
Yep. But
it was hard not to pick Texas guys for this tournament.
I gotta say I did it.
Right? I've got a couple non-Texas guys, but a couple of them are guys that have done well in the Toyota Big Bass tournaments down there. Everybody's really anticipating this one because if you don't know what we're talking about here, it's a 4-day tournament, and a lot of people really think that the total weight is going to be over 130 pounds, maybe even over 140 pounds for 4 days, which is crazy when you think about it. That's like 30 pounds a day. So you think about that 30 plus pounds a day, you're allowed to your 5 biggest fish.
5 8-pounders.
I mean, that's what it's going to take, and there's going to be some people that are going to bring in. I mean, the big bass of the tournament is going to be crazy. It's going to be over 10, I think, the big bass of the tournament is going to be.
The disappointing thing is that they're not going to have good weather down there. They got a lot of, I think it's on Wednesday, Lake Fork is supposed to get 3 inches of rain.
Is it? Yeah.
And
it's high already. They said that it's high. The lake is higher than normal right now anyways.
Yep. And the FLW and MLF are just fishing a little bit to the east of there, like in Oklahoma and maybe somewhere else. And I guess that whole entire system's just going to kind of hit all of them. And
the Elite or MLF is at Smith Lake right now.
Smith Lake, yep.
Where the Elites were like a couple tournaments ago.
And
then there was an open tournament there this last week.
Okay. I don't know where FLW is.
They were just down in Oklahoma. No, they were just down in North Carolina, I think, Lake Cherokee.
Yeah, they're somewhere over.
Are they over in that
Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, something in that, and I, listening to that, there's so many lakes down there that I just don't know. So
listening to some of the locals talk about that tournament down there this week, it's kind of their 2 weeks too late and 2 weeks too early right now. So there's a lot of them that are, I actually think it's going to take less than 30 pounds a day to win it. It's going to be definitely over 100 pounds. It's going to be over the century mark, but I don't think it's going to be as crazy as what people think. I think there's a lot of people that think that everybody's going to be coming in there and nobody's going to catch anything less than 10 pounds. And it's just like, no, it's going to, I mean, it's crazy to think of a tournament where 5 and 6 pounders are
obsolete.
Are going to be small. It's like, it's just like, oh, I got another 4, another 5 pounder. So
that is crazy. So who I promise I won't change it yet, and I don't think I'll get this uploaded yet tomorrow morning. So who do you got winning it?
I think it's going to be Stetson Blaylock again or Matt Herron. They've both won down there. Blaylock right now is his momentum, and it's just something about bass fishing that the Bass Tour momentum plays such a huge role, and he's fishing with confidence right now.
When you feel good, you fish good,
and it is true. And I just, like I said, he's had success down there, and I think he's focused. His career right now is really, really taken off.
He's on fire.
I really think that he's going to have one. And then old Matt Herron, he just seems, if it's going to be a jig tournament, which they're talking it could be, he's a guy that he's going to flip and pitch his way to some big ones.
What's the name? Is it Elias or Ellison or
Paul Elias has the record.
Okay. God dang it. Who guided on fork?
That's that Livesay.
Livesay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. That's who I got.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they're talking about the dude.
Livesay or Livesay or whatever.
He's been having a great year, really. He has, except for the one tournament he kind of stumbled on. He had like a 60 someplace finish, but again, he's fishing well. It's his home lake. He guides over 300 days a year on that lake.
Yep.
So
you got to think.
Well, yeah. And
if anyone's got an advantage, it's him. That's who I picked. And
see,
I don't know.
I know a
nothing,
lot of people have. I just kind of went away from that because I kind of need some fantasy points and to try to get past Jeremy. So
yeah, I know who Jeremy's got. So I won't say it. If I do, then all of a sudden he'll be crying and whatnot.
I don't know if I should have said who I got because now he'll go in there and change.
Yeah, I'll try not to get this. I'll try not. Well,
no.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get it uploaded yet tonight, just because we're already running a little bit late. Whatever, but yeah, I got 115 pounds.
115. I got like 119 or something right in there. I think 119.4 or something.
Yep. I'd be happy to be wrong and have it go 140 or something like that.
It would be cool to see some people, bring in 40, 50. I mean, a 50-pound bag is that would be ridiculous. But
what is the current record?
It's like 45 or 42, somewhere in there.
Dean Rojas
on Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
Has it.
Okay.
So,
but yeah,
there's gonna be some tired and sore dudes after that tournament.
Yeah, well, that's
catching
good.
Fish like that
that's
all
good.
day.
They're making the big bucks. They can do it.
That's exactly right. I don't feel sorry for them getting to do that.
No.
And we're gonna try to get down to Lake Fork sometime. And
Yeah,
fish.
I know some people that live down like right next to it. I actually Google mapped it today after I was texting you about it. They live 21 miles from the nearest boat ramp, and they got a little acreage ranch deal or whatever just east of Dallas. I think it's kind of northeast of Dallas if I paid attention correctly. And she is a great cook. I know that they'd love to have us down there.
Well, then
we got to do it. We got to do it. We always say we got to take advantage of these opportunities.
We got to do it.
We got to do it. So.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I think that'll be it.
Good luck to everybody out there and fishing. Yep. Hopefully we can get rid of this rainy, cold weather and get some steady stuff. And the lakes are actually getting a little higher than our river here.
I caught my first smallmouth last night out of the river. So
yeah, now we just need that to go down a little bit more.
Yeah, it was high. I think I actually caught one of the same fish Ramsey caught just a couple nights ago. Yeah, mine was bigger. That's right.
Yours, well, it wasn't bigger. Yours actually looked healthy, and his after he touched it, it probably
was. Oh, the grease. What did we go? We went 42 minutes without bashing Ramsey. We had to get one in there.
That's right.
He's gone with the Army again. Good luck down there, Ramsey. Air Assault School.
Go get him.
Yep. But it looked like it was tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, all right. Check you guys next week.